Welcome back to Self-Care Sunday with me, Elisa Maria. Hi. Today's reading is from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo, and it's from October the 25th, titled, To the Core, No One Lands Where They Aim, Not Even God. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Elisa Marie Designs. I'm Elisa Marie. If you don't know me, welcome back. If you do. I got everything that I need to do my self-care Sunday. I will tell you that it is Saturday, and I did read Saturday's passage, and I just wanted to show it to you because it's always made such an impact on me. So today, just in case you're watching this in the future, is Saturday, October the 25th, and there's a big bouncy house outside of my home. The kids are getting ready for trick-or-treating. But this is like one of my favorite passages. You can tell from all the highlighting and stuff that I did. And when I was done reading it, usually what I do is I diamond paint and we chat for a while, and then when Spirit moves me to read, I read. But Spirit moved me right away on this one, and I would like to show you a canvas that I received. I can't remember if I bought this one or if DP Over asked me to do another review, and I was like, oh, I know exactly which one I want. And it's so fat. It was the artwork, it was the way that it was rendered, and I think it fits so well with this reading. So let's get to the reading, and then we'll get to the should I unbox it and read over it? I don't know. Let me read it to you because I think it's just a fabulous reading. And especially that we're coming to the end of the Witch event, and we come to the end of the Raven event. And I think anytime you're planning anything, the way that you plan it to go, which is why I don't make plans. I just don't. I know no one believes me. I just don't make plans. The only plan I ever made was a plan B. And I was thinking about getting that on a t-shirt as my own personal quote. At least I believe it is. Anyway, this one is called To the Core. And it talks about the fact that no one really lands where they aim. Not even God. And then I think what I'll do is we'll have a little discussion about the reading. As I do the unboxing, I'll do a voiceover. We are so quick to condemn this or exile that, to ostracize the breaker of promises, when the truth is that nothing in nature arrives as imagined. In fact, because the space between what we intend and what we do is often great, we keep beginning. Because the gap between what we feel and what we say is often surprising, we keep trying. Because the field between what we experience and what we understand is so vast, we keep growing. This is poignantly different from deliberately living contrary to what we believe and say. That is deceit and hypocrisy. But most of the time, we humble creatures simply miss the mark. We aim, mean well, and fall short, or wide, or overreach what we set out to do. I've come to believe that this is all part of the friction of the inner life of things becoming outer. Just as we learn in grade school about refraction, about how a stick placed in water will not stay where we put it, what we feel and think and aim for shifts, once entering the world, never quite where we imagined it. It is, despite our frustration, what makes life interesting and love hard. Each of us gets the chance repeatedly to announce, with all the certainty that we can muster, our own version of, quote, the world is flat, end quote, only to live into the humility of what has always been true. When I think of the beliefs I have declared over my lifetime and how they were broken like trees in a storm, or the vows I swore to keep at all cost only to deny knowing God like Peter, or the pride with which I would never kneel only to be brought to my knees by pain. When I accept the fragile way that the human journey unfolds, these become less mistakes and more the way that nature works. We grow into truth, one self at a time, questioning, declaring, aiming, missing, questioning again. As fruits are all encased until ripe, light comes full term in the dark, and truth ripens in the heart. The only way to know the truth is to live through its many casings. That's really powerful. And I am going to get the canvas that I fell in love with when I saw. And what really drew me to this canvas, I said, was what the artist was doing. And then I read this passage and I was like, oh, I was going to keep this for during the week. I was going to open it up during the week and show you guys, but I just think it just fits perfectly here. So I'm going to go get it and then we'll do a voiceover. In this reading, Nepo reminds us that life rarely unfolds as we planned. There's a beauty and humility in that, because the space between our intention and our action, our feelings and our words, our experiences and our understanding, that's where growth happens, and that's where we begin again. So before I get into any reflection or talking points that I had, I want to let you know that I'm going to be doing a full review on this canvas. I love this canvas. It's really, really cute. So what I wanted to pull out of the self-care Sunday talking points are that the space between intention and reality, the way that Nepo speaks about the friction, the refraction between what's inside us and what the world receives. When I can, tying this into like the diamond painting, when I set out to film or paint or even plan an event, it really turns out exactly as I envisioned. And yet something in that shift, something more authentic, always seems to emerge. In my opinion, every canvas is an act of aiming, isn't it? You know, we start a new diamond painting kit and we picture the perfection, the drills being straight, the colors, the outcome is flawless, you know, all our squares align just so. But yet by the time we finish, there's, you know, these little bubbles that have bursted, you know, symbols that we missed, maybe straight hairs, maybe a stuck to our canvas, maybe it's a spilled tray. Nepo wrote, "Nothing in nature arrives as imagined." Our creative process reminds us that beauty lives in the deviation. The image is transformed by the hands that place each drill. Mark Nepo's idea of refraction, that stick in the water bends, mirrors how our creative vision bends once it meets real materials, the lighting, and the mood. The original sparkle that we imagine, maybe we replace some drills, allows us to keep coming back to the beginning. Hi again, it's the next day. These videos are taking like 2 days, and I wanted to just say that this is going to tie into something else with this Self-Care Sunday. I really didn't get to all my notes about the reading. Missing the mark is not failing. It's something else I wanted to talk about. And whether you sometimes misplace a color, or the rendering isn't what we expected, which is what I kind of stopped this video at this junction, because I just completed a I don't even know if I want to show you guys, but you know, I'm very transparent here, so I'm gonna get the painting and show you, because for as much as the unboxing to me in the beginning, here we go again. We're starting from the beginning again. We're starting from the beginning. This canvas is lovely, and I'm going to do a complete unboxing on it. But I kind of, I'm moving around my house because there's a lot going on. And so sometimes I can't film because I have people doing work in my home. And I got back to this today. And in that span of stopping the video and picking up the video, I completed one of my canvases that was not as I expected. And I was like, wow, this one really does fit into today's reading. So let me go get it. So sometimes the rendering is not what we expected. And when, Mark talked about missing the mark, I don't think that this is deceit or failure on the part of the creative friction that happened here. I don't think that this was imagination or expression of the original artwork. I just think that it was failure to look at the rendering once it was completed to see that everything was okay. So, I don't like leaving things on a negative note. I'm trying to get this ugly thing that I have going on in the background. Those stickers are driving me crazy. But I did talk to Kristen, who some of you know, who is the artist for the Witch canvases. And I showed her my completed work. She knew that I was working on this while being sick all week. And she was just like, I'm so sorry, but that is horrendous. And I said, well, I didn't want to say anything because, I could see, my husband can see that this is really bad. And I feel responsible for anyone that went out and got this canvas because I got it. And you guys like to diamond paint along with me. And so, we keep starting from the beginning. And part of my beginning is going to be to maybe unbox the canvas and then maybe, I don't know. And this is where I enlisted Kristen's help. She's an artist. Her artwork goes to be rendered into a diamond painting after she works on it. And she can tell by her eye how it gets cleaned up. So, on a note with this particular canvas is that she has told me this is getting taken out of the rotation because it's not suitable to go out to anyone else because it's not cleaned up. So maybe it will get cleaned up. Maybe it'll be back. But I worked on this canvas. I love the artwork so much that I went out and I got a frame before I even put one drill on it. So here is my blue lady. Blue butterfly. So the rendering on this, I'm going to zoom in close because from far away you probably can't tell all what is going on in her face. I can't really make out the butterfly. This butterfly is beautiful. The eyes have popped and I am just heartbroken here. Now, could I go in and change this and clean this up? Yes, I can. But for those of you that are part of my Raven event, and I talk about where you place your energy and what the reward is, I am trying to get through what I have, and I'm getting ready for another event and a reading with my members and subscribers. And yeah, I could go in and I could, pull those drills out and replace them. But, that's me. And every time I look at this, I can't even believe the way it left. I just can't even believe the way it left. I cannot believe that this was in, that is just absolutely horrible. At one point, I thought, I'm ready to cry. At one point, I thought that she was holding a mask to her face. I'm like, is she like an insect? Is she a butterfly? It's like, what is going on here? I just can't even look at it. So, then I did this reading. And, I had these thoughts about, missing the mark is not failing. But I didn't miss the mark here. I did my job. But there is something to learn here. And it's going to bring me back to the beginning of how I do unboxings, what I choose to put into a whip and chat, what I actually work on in front of you guys. And really not, people have said to me, we never see a finish when you're done. And it just seems as though, like, I can't get anything done. Really, honestly, I can't get anything done. I was actually missing drills out of this canvas. I was missing the blue fairy dust drills, and I actually took them out of another canvas so that I could finish this. And now, the sparkle of these drills to me is just, I'm trying not to think of it as being wasted. Even this part here in her hair, it looks funny, but it's the face, and the face is just, it's just killing me. It's just killing me. So maybe if you did get this canvas and you just study it, just study this canvas, and where you see this tan color, I absolutely would take any color that's next to it and fill it in with that. I don't know if I'm going to go back and fix this canvas. I don't know. But like I said, like maybe from far away you can't see it, but when you come back up on it, it's a heartbreak. So let me get back to my self-care Sunday. So interestingly enough, I was taking parts of the reading out, and like I showed you guys in the beginning how many things I had underlined. And when Nepo says truth ripens the heart, our creative rhythm does that too. There are times when you're just in the flow. Like I was like that with the two-hand clutch. You're just in the flow. Like everything is working right. The canvas is the right size. The drills are beautiful. Same company, Diamond Art Emporium, different artist. You're just in that flow. It's so joyful. I heard from so many of you that were like, oh my God, I love this canvas. I love this artist. I love working on this. I'm actually getting done faster than I need to for the event. And I want to make sure that I have enough to diamond paint so that I can be part of the grand prize, which is this Friday on my channel. Hello. I hope to see you there. And there are other times when nothing is right, like nothing sticks straight. You might have a patch of glue that's not there, or I've been hearing a lot of horror stories with new canvases, and I believe I've been hearing a lot about a Diamond Art Club, and people are having a lot of problems with glue. And I'm like, what? Really? Diamond Art Club? And they're like, yeah, my canvas is like, it's not cured correctly. So, I mean, talk about taking a pause and taking a step back. I mean, I think that they are probably the leader in diamond painting. I don't know. I don't get into so much of that algorithm and technicality of who's really leading the pack and who's doing what. I think each company has their charm and challenges, and I just try and be graceful about it. And I do think that, as Mark says, truth ripens in the heart. Those sessions where they're just really challenging us, again, we keep coming back to the beginning. We just keep coming back. Like, don't think of that. Like, and that's really here. Like, I'm really trying to like say, what am I learning from this? Well, I did learn a few things, and I am going to reframe the way that I do things. I get very excited with my diamond paintings. Extremely. I show you things that I bought. As I'm unboxing them, I'm like, just, drunk with joy over a canvas, over an artist that has something new out that I love. And then I also feel responsible when it doesn't add up to my excitement, where I'm just kind of like, oh God, that bubble burst, didn't it? And trying to just look at a deeper rhythm and returning to joy after being frustrated. And so that's the lesson that I'm trying to learn here. I have plenty of Diamond Art Emporium canvases that are open. I have my angel, which I usually do on Self-Care Sunday, and now I'm starting to second guess him. Do I want to put him out in front of you guys and then have another fail? Because I don't want any negativity coming to the company. However, Kristen is stepping in to a role of being more than just an artist, but actually going through all the canvases and deciding, hey, listen, this is just, and there was another thing with this canvas. I knew it when I was doing it. There's a lot of unnecessary confetti on this canvas, a ton of it. And, you know, it was all like in the wings section, here in the hands, like, look at those hands. Just unnecessary confetti. The picture, I'm going to put the picture up. I'm actually going to put it, you know, in here where you can see what the actual picture was. And then see what this rendering turned into to be. So. Heartbreak. Maybe one day when I'm old and gray and I decide there's no more diamond paintings left in my stash. Let me look at that one that's a mess and put her back together. Maybe I do it then. I don't know. So I also wanted to know if there was, if you could take a pause yourself and just think about a painting that you did that didn't turn out the way that you planned. And if you can take a moment here to learn the lesson that I'm trying to learn myself, you know, because I do these self-care Sundays doesn't mean I'm an expert. And because I'm a yoga teacher and a diamond painter and I have a channel doesn't mean I'm an expert in any of it. But if you could breathe into the lesson that it taught you, whether it was patience, play, improvisation, and release any judgment that it had to be perfect, and to love the artist that keeps on beginning. Yeah. So what I want to do now, I had a little closing thought here. That diamond painting has taught me exactly what this particular reading, which is why I didn't go into the reading for today. I'm going to read that to you guys tomorrow because it's a very good one too. It's very short. It's like a paragraph or two, believe it or not. That creation is refraction. What begins in light, it bends through time, patience, and humility until it finds its true form. And maybe that's the point, not to land perfectly, but to keep shining in the bend. In the bend. And that doesn't mean, you know, like I have no control over what I created here. None. I have no control. It's been pre-planned for me. So, but I can get in the bend, start again, and turn this into something beautiful. But because I've made a commitment to go through my stash and not buy anything else, and to also, I've spoken to companies that have asked me, when they ask me, will you do a review? And if it's a company that I like and I can pick the art that I want to review, can I give these paintings away after? You know, because I know my limitations. I know my boundaries. And if, as long as they say, yes, you can, please do, please share it to someone that would want it, then I do it. Because I'm not going to overwhelm my art room with canvases that I'm not going to do that can bring joy to someone else. So, what's next? What is on the agenda for tomorrow? For tomorrow, I'm sorry, but my closet is such an eyesore. I can't look at it anymore. My closet with those, I can't get that off. Next time my husband runs to Home Depot, he's got the contractors downstairs. I'm going to ask them to come up and see, other than my heat gun, what can I use to take this off? Okay, anyway. So for tomorrow, we are going into the unboxing and kit up of Quiet Snow. And Rebecca, I put this post out yesterday, is the book that y'all want to hear. So you guys know that when I do a diamond painting and I have an affection for an artist, I do a deep dive. So tomorrow while I'm unboxing, we're going to do a deep dive into Rebecca du Maurier. And fascinating. Let me just give you a little bit of a hint. Let me just give you a little, first of all, if you have read Rebecca and you're coming in to have the voiceover with me while I diamond paint, please don't give anything away in the comments, because there are a lot of people that did not know this story, and they don't even know that there's a movie that Alfred Hitchcock did. Rebecca, I keep calling her Rebecca. Daphne du Maurier also wrote The Birds. Now, what I want to tell you about the artist, which we're going to explore a little bit further tomorrow, is that um, we have we have interviews of Daphne here on YouTube, and I have been listening to them. And I found it so fascinating that she was in one interview and she said, Rebecca was a phase. Like, I've written all these books that are so much better than Rebecca. And yet we keep coming back to Rebecca. And we're going to explore that tomorrow in our talk. But I also wanted to say that I think why people keep coming back to Rebecca, because she let it out. I don't know if it was the actual interview that I listened with her, or if it was another gentleman that I was listening to that gave more of an in-depth backstory on Daphne, which I have not heard her talk about, and I don't know how true this is, but what I do know that is true, because I am going to explore that little tidbit that he let out about where the inspiration for Rebecca comes from. I do know that Rebecca, the inspiration for the book comes from her own personal life. She was the second wife. She was living in the shadow of the first wife, who was elegant and poised, and I'm going to get into all that, but she was living in the shadow of the first wife, and maybe for her, when she wrote this book, it was just a phase. But there's something that draws us to art and beauty, writers, paintings, because there's a piece of their soul that comes through the words. And that's any writer. You have to know whether it's from personal experience or imagination or a thought that they have, that you are getting a piece of their soul when they write these words down. So what I want to also so we'll explore that with tomorrow, right? I don't want to give too much away during this talk, but um, a friend of mine who I've known since I was 16 years old, her daughter, who I've known before she was nothing more than a wish and a hope, wrote a book. And she wrote it a while ago, not too long ago. I've had the book for maybe a few months already. And my girlfriend said, Gianna wrote a book. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, she wrote a book. And of course, she's like, you're going to love it because it's all about self care. And so, of course, I went and got the book and I read it in a day. Now, I have known Gianna, like I said, when you were a wish and a hope, if you're listening. And I always found Gianna fascinating and phenomenal. She's a phenomenal young woman. She has 4 children. She has a full-time job. She's in her 30s, and that has got to be so difficult today. I couldn't do it today because I feel as though these young women are under a microscope. And not only if they're not under a microscope, they're looking at someone who would have you believe that their curated life in front of the camera is, fabulous. My kids are like always on the mark, that we always get the funny jokes. I'm always in the frame. My hair and makeup are always done. Even if they have like a tired morning where they get up and they're like pinching their cheeks and they have a rosy glow and they're full of energy, they can go through the day with, all this energy and their kids and everything else. There's a young woman that I watch on YouTube, not on YouTube, on Instagram, that I love. She's a dancer and she gave up dancing to, of course, get married and have children. And all throughout her day, she's dancing. But she has a young toddler, and she had twins after. I'll put her name down here. I can't remember her name because I'm just so fascinated with the choreography that she does all during the day. Like, she does these choreographed dance routines that are just fabulous, whether she's unpacking the dishwasher, feeding the children. If they're napping, she's doing full school choreography. Like, if you think that this girl is doing this while, her husband's at work and there's no help, there's help. And sometimes I think that even if you do know that as a young woman, that she's so fabulous, and she is fabulous young woman doing, keeping the creative part of herself alive, that it gets expressed through dance. But there is still like, I wish I could do that. I wish I had a team that was going to film me, make sure I'm always on the spot, in the frame, make sure they get the shot, you know, because if you're choreographing this by yourself, there's no way you're always in the frame. And then, you know, somebody to do the editing, and then you have twins and you have a young boy. I just wish that um, the curators of their channels would be a little bit more forthcoming, which is why sometimes, you know, you see me over a course of 2 days. Sometimes you see me in makeup, and sometimes you see me where, yeah, I literally just pinched my cheeks and turned on record. Because if I don't do it then, there's no time in my day to do it anywhere else. So let me just say that this book is for all you tired mamas, coffee consumption, and deep breaths. So my girlfriend said, by Gianna Cianci. So my girlfriend said, and here's beautiful Gianna. So my girlfriend said, did you read the book? What did you think of it? And I said, I love the book. Gianna's not going to teach me anything about self-care. I know about eating right, getting in sunlight, getting proper sleep, you know, getting those breaths in that you can. I wasn't, you know, taking your vitamins, you know, making time for yourself, writing, getting help when you need to, asking for help, setting boundaries. She covers it all. This book wasn't for me. I'm not a young mama, but it's for you young mamas out there. And if you have a young mama that you would think would benefit from this, there's a lot of valuable information in here. Okay. So my girlfriend Kim said, but what did you think of the book? And I said, when your daughter is writing from her personal experience, I loved it. Because that's what we hook into, just like Daphne du Maurier. We hook into Rebecca over and over again. We keep returning back to Manderley because you can, the experience is so personal that if you have not been in this same situation, you've been in a situation where you're standing in someone's shadow and they're overshadowing you and you can't compete with them. There's so many lessons to be learned in this book, and I can't wait to dig my teeth and claws into it. But when Gianna is writing from her personal experience, being a 30-something mama with 4 children, she's got 3 girls and 1 boy. I remember speaking to Gianna when I think she had 2 and maybe an infant, and there was a hell of a lot of screaming going on that I was concerned about, and she was just like, oh, yeah, no, their kids are playing. And I always wanted to be that mama that was just like, oh, there's nothing to worry about, their kids. Oh, because they're pulling each other's hair out. That's what they do. And my girlfriend once, she said to me, she's like, oh, Lee, she said, Lee, they're around her like a hula hoop. She's like, they move as a unit. She's like, she's got a hula hoop of children around her. And I'm like, oh my God. And like, I have known Gianna, like I said, since before she was a thought, okay? And it was a wish and a prayer. And I'm like, I can't believe that this is, you know, like, I can't believe the phenomenal young woman. Both your girls. We'll get into Nicole another day because she's just fabulous too. Both your girls, you have phenomenal young women that you raised. And what I want to say here as I close this out is, Gianna, keep writing. Keep writing, keep writing. Any one of my members or subs will tell you that's all I talk about. And you have such a rich experience from this point of view, relationships, marriage, being a mama. You got to get this all down, girl. You got to get this all down. And I'm going to be waiting for your next book here, because this again is for your tired mamas. Somebody, it's just a touchstone for young mothers to be able to see, like, there's someone else out there. Someone sees me. Someone is validating this struggle that, you know, it is sometimes a lot of joy, a ton of joy with children. There's nothing like having children. It was the best creation that I ever made in my life, was having my child and seeing the wonderful young man that he's grown into. But it's a lot, you know, especially if you're doing it by yourself. And some of us are doing it by ourselves, even with a partner. But it's the most rewarding experience that I've ever had in my life. And I think, Gianna, you are a resource of information for young women. Look at this artwork.
Hurry up. I love the lollipop sticking out of the head. She's a unicorn. She's got her coffee. She's got a candy cane stuck there. She's got her little fluffy slippers on. I love the artwork. I don't know if you did the artwork. You probably did. But again, even if you just use this as a guide, when it comes to, your own moments of profound joy and struggles, or just maybe there's something in here that you're not doing that you need to do. I mean, coming from my point of view, and even Gianna's too, just think about how long a minute is. Should we sit here for one full minute? I'm not gonna do a full minute. I'm gonna do like 10 seconds. So there you have it, 10 seconds. And you know what I did in those 10 seconds of quiet? I took 2 full deep breaths. It can just reset everything. And there are little tips and tricks in this book for you to grasp onto. So I am going to do a full review of this canvas. I hope you guys loved it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But that's me. I love my diamond paintings. They're my little babies. They're my little creations. And I am going to start, Rebecca, tomorrow. Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm going to de-kit this kit. And I'm going to use that case to kit up my quiet snow. I keep saying quiet storm. Quiet snow. And I will see you guys tomorrow also, just for a mini clip of what would have been today's reading. It's such a valuable reading. They're all so valuable. I love this book. And I also wanted to talk to you guys about something else that I did this week. I got to make myself a note. I just don't know where I would fit it in at, because it is a self-care thing. Okay, so let me just tell you really quickly. I was having a hard time going to sleep one night because I was upset about something. And I thought to myself, I could go to bed tired and upset about this situation. And I maybe, God willing, I wake up in the morning, and do I want to go to bed upset over this situation when there's so much things that I can have joy about in my life? So when I am upset about something and my mind is ticking away, I write. And so here is something from Journal to the Self, another great book that I love. And I'm going to link all these all down below. Journal to the Self, I actually met Kathleen Abrams when I was in New York, and went and did another, went to another event, like I did Julie Cameron when I did The Artist Way. I met Julie Cameron 3 times and just was like this the whole time. Just look, I was sat in the front row. I didn't care. I was like right literally on top of her. So I was just in awe of her. And Kathleen Abrams, I actually, my friend Anna, who I heard from this week, who introduced me to an artist that just did a clip art book. I'm going to put that book down below too. Anna was the proprietress of the ink pad where I worked. And she said, Elisa, please come with me to this event. I love words. And yeah, I credit Anna all the time for turning me into a writer and having me love words. And so Kathleen Abrams has these very short and sweet writing exercises. Are you listening, Gianna? And she, the one that I love, the one that I really hooked into, was called, I think it's called The 100, or maybe I nicknamed it The 100. You think of something that you can write 100 things about, and you're kind of like, you're crazy. I can't write 100 things about anything. Yes, you can. You can, and you will. And so when I couldn't go to sleep, I wrote, what are 100 things that bring me joy, that make the corners of my mouth lift up and make me smile? And that's how I went to bed that night, with 100 things that make me smile. Of course, it's my husband, John. Of course, it's my son, Joshua. Of course, it's my mother. Of course, it's my first cup of coffee in the morning. It's watching Foofy out in the yard. It's watching him talk to birds. It's getting a new diamond painting. It's completing a diamond painting. Once you get on a roll of all the things that bring you joy, going out on an artist date by myself, having time to sit alone and write, having time to do yoga, teaching, like you will just get on a roll of all the things, and you can repeat some things if you need to, right? You can write again, morning cup of coffee, second cup of coffee, um, maybe putting enhancements on my uh, diamond painting, being courageous. You'll think of 100 things that make you happy and proud of yourself. And that's the way I went to bed that night, not with the thought of, I'm so upset over this situation that I can't change. I have to accept it. And what away. I was like, you know what? At least if I don't wake up in the morning, the corners of my mouth will be turned up. So I leave you with that thought. And let me know if you want to know more about Journal of the Self. It's a great book. It would be another book that I would love to go through with you guys. Love, because I think we did try. I do the Artist Way every year, and we're coming into 2026. But the Artist Way is, I think, more of a Discord group, and you would be responsible to read the chapters on your own. And then we would get together on Discord and we would talk about the chapters. That's how the Artist Way was meant to be done. When Julia Cameron does say form circles, when you read this book and you do the 12 steps, you have my blessing to form a circle and to teach the Artist Way to others. And I've done this once in my yoga studio, once in my cafe, and once here on YouTube. But I don't think we got too far on YouTube. I think the material was too much reading. People don't like to read on their phone. They like pictures. That's what made, what was that one app? Oh my God, I was on it all the time. That, was basically curating pictures to get a glimpse of who you are. Oh my gosh, what was the name of it? I keep thinking Twitter. It wasn't Twitter. Oh my gosh, I had so many platforms on there. Like I had one that was called Cafe Living, and it was all about my experience being in the cafe, all about my experience being in and out of cafes that I love, and that was one of my 100, going to a new cafe, sitting in a cafe, writing in a cafe, sketching in a cafe. They're all things that turn up the corners of my mouth. Tumblr, that's what made Tumblr so popular, was that you got a glimpse of who this person is by the pictures they were posting. So people really didn't want to really, eat a lot of words when it comes to the Artist Way. You're going to read the chapter and then I'm reiterating the chapter back to you. So you would be responsible to read the chapter on your own. And then we would get together and talk about the experience. And I have been a student of the Artist Way for, where are we at now? 20 years. So if that's something you guys want to do, comment down below, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Think about joining membership. And I will see you tomorrow for Rebecca and Quiet Snow. Thanks for hanging with me Sunday. It's always a pleasure to be here for Self-Care Sunday. Bye.